Well, hi there, and welcome along to Friday Night Racing at Dundalk in association with BarwinRacing.com. This week, I'm joined by Johnny Ward. Good to have you on board.
Standing in for Juki, if that's possible.
If possible, and of course Peter Kingston from our sponsors as well. We're really on the countdown now to the BarwinRacing.com Winter Festival at Fairy House. Anything caught your eye in the last week, or was it just pure excitement?
Yeah, pure excitement. No, the betting's been quiet now. I think until we see the 5-day decks early next week, that's when the betting really commences.
Anything you're looking forward to? I mean, Sam Crow in the Trinmore, what's on to like?
I'm possibly more excited by another horse, which is, I thought I'd never say, running the Royal Bond. I think this may dictate where, I don't know what price you are, Envoy Allen for the Supreme, so I think that's where he's going to end up. With Malone Road out of the season, I put up 5 horses to follow a month ago. 2 of them are already out for the season. Gypsy Island and Malone Road. So I thought Malone Road would go for the Supreme because he's a really speed horse, and Envoy Allen will go for the Ballymore. Now I think with Andy Dufresne having run in the meantime, I think maybe he'd run in the Supreme, but...
And Andy Dufresne in the Ballymore.
Yeah, something like that, but I can't wait to see him and Samco. It's going to be proper racing, and Fairness Bar, one of they've sponsored that for so long. It really is part of the day that you'll get good sponsorship because it's a long-standing relationship with like a proper Grade 1 race card.
Yeah, it's a brilliant day's racing, and we got a couple of tickets to give away as well. Simple question: just tell us who won the 2018 Bowen.com Racing Drinmore Chase. So who won the Drinmore last year? And make sure you're following BarwinRacing.com and pop the answer in the comments. Right, on to Dundalk. We'll start with this sprint. A whole handful of these are all reopposing. So who are you with here, Peter?
I am with Bought in the Dark for Dundalk. Stall 16, the 1st November, behind May Remain, just mad wide into the straight, ran well considering. It all happened away from him to his left in the straight as well. A tongue tie first time, Joe Doyle, I'll just give it a chance to run into a place. Ty Rock Brandy's going to be very hard to beat. It ran very well in second the last time.
Yeah, are you in agreement, Johnny?
Yeah, this horse has cheapies on more blinkers the last day. Watched this run, did proper prep for this. Watched this run on my laptop in the car on the way here, driven here by a League of Ireland star who shall remain unnamed when he plays. But I watched this race back, and she, you cannot win from the way she was ridden the last day. You're going, how much ground do you forfeit in the 5 furlong race, going wide?
Yeah, and then you get kicked out as well. So.
Yeah, what I wanted to see was what she would find for pressure from sort of the 2 furlong pole, and she kept going pretty well. I think all told, if she were drawn 1, she would have been thereabouts. They've changed the headgear, and I think it has a great chance actually. Another horse to be interested in is Ken Sands, who's coming down the weights, and I mean the rest of them you can kind of just recite them really, the likes of Pillar and Blaster Magic regulars at Dundalk.
Yeah, they're all kind of run against each other, that lot. Move on to the claimer then, the second on the card. Tennessee Wildcat kind of stands out a little bit. Colin Keane on board for Aidan McGuinness, who could have a cracking night in fairness. Anything else for you in the claimer?
I thought this race was an absolute disaster. I've actually wasted a lot of my life looking at it, to be honest, and I couldn't find the winner. So I found what I hope would be 13 losers, probably found a 14th as well, but Tennessee Wildcat is my tentative selection. Carried, if he could come back to his best, he's one of the most genuine horses you'd see in his day, but seems to have kind of just lost his love for the game. If he bounced back, he'd have a chance, but he's rated, doesn't really give him much of a chance. You found an interesting one with a backstory that didn't suggest it would be in a race like this.
Yeah, just stall 1, Mere Ironmonger for Dave Murnane. He's 7-year-old gelding now, but he won a bumper first time out, and it was a really expensive purchase back in the day, 280,000. Dan was a listed winner, and he's by Galileo. Now he's...
That sounds like a lot of broken dreams there, doesn't it?
Sure
and
does.
here he is in the Claimer Dundalk on a Friday. Not even the first race.
We'll put you in for $7,000.
Doesn't have a rating, so $7,000. The way this is working is there's £2 for every £1,000 you win less. Course, yeah. So it's getting like £16. But Tennessee Wildcat at adjusted ratings here, you could say, is 96. It's only pitched in for cheap here. 9-year-old, but really will enjoy this dropping class, should cruise round the last
furlong. Get home.
That's the thing.
Because if Ala Blaster is basically a 2-mile horse, so if there's any money for that, and you back Tennessee Wildcat, and they're relatively neck and neck with a furlong to go, you've done your money. Yeah. Hopefully that is not.
Hopefully that's not the case.
Yeah, Colin Keane rides Tennessee Wildcat. 6 of his 7 wins have come with Colin Keane on board, so I'll take that.
Okay, that's a good omen. Let's move on to the third race of the evening, and the one that really caught my eye here is the class dropper, Chaparral Dream, who's obviously still better treated on turf than over on the all-weather surface. So nice prep race and a ludicrously better race than this, so he'd be my tentative selection. What about you, Peter?
Yeah, I kind of found it hard to catch Chapeau Dream in the past, so I probably am just biased against him. Queen Amandala would fall down in here, even though stalled 15, chased a very fast pace, went third to Latchet on course and distance here on the 25th of October. Only beat a length and a half. Rise of £2, but has a £7 swing with Latchet, Joseph Murphy and Gary Carroll.
Yeah, good combo. What about you, Johnny?
Yeah, the draw is a worry for her. Just the mile and 2 at Dundalk, you come to the bend very, very quickly, and you can basically lose the race. Strangely enough, in a 10.5 furlong race, the race can be lost straight away.
Yeah, early. Yeah.
It's probably not made enough of a point of. I thought it was very open, this race. I do like Ultra Pride. Robbie Colgan is back on board. This horse has run 3 times on the surface, and superficially hasn't run that well, but actually has run fine, and that was over, I think, 7 furlongs or thereabouts. He's by the way you are. The surface isn't a problem at all. Very, very genuine horse. Big fan of Robbie Colgan around Dundalk. Big fan of Sheila Lavery as well. Chaparral Dream, as you say, I remember speaking to Aidan McGuinness earlier this year, where they were laying him out for Galway because they knew that his mark on turf was, it didn't quite work out. He ran well, but he was behind a good winner. But just back here now, I'm just wondering, is he well enough handicapped just yet to score? But I think Ultra Pride is rock solid.
Yeah, good stuff. Right, let's take a little break. And
download the Bar One Racing app today. Bet on the go with our mobile app and have the latest odds at your fingertips. You can manage your account from within the app, including deposits and withdrawals. Visit the Apple App Store or Google Play on your mobile or tablet device to download the Bar One Racing app today.
Right, we're back for the first division of the maiden. A couple of these here just kind of caught my eye. Obviously, Willie Wampus is really good form from that Nace run, but Duke, what's his name? Duke of Pilat. He is 340 grand he costs as a yearling.
Yeah, French bred horse. The horse you mentioned initially, Willie Wampus, is by Zoffany, and I remember being told that Zoffany's 2-year-olds this year were going to be very good because it was just that year where he was particularly in vogue or whatever. And this horse is a nice horse, good runs in a couple of maidens over, I think both were over a mile or 7 furlongs. The question mark is the ground, because both were on heavy, but he might be one of those horses that's underrated in the sense that, you know, it's a small yard, a very charismatic trainer, the Cummins, but wouldn't have many flat horses. 2 that interest me here are Assurance. Only Jim Bulger would do what. I mean, how can you explain this? You know, let's. I mean, it's like having a 14-year-old playing for Barcelona or something. It's like, how can you go into this combat first time out? But this is a very well-bred filly by Teofilo, who wasn't at all disgraced, considering she was sluggish out of the gates, and just obviously the way they were travelling a mile there, good horses, wasn't disgraced. I think she probably will take a bit of beating. If you were to give her a rating based on the mile there, it would probably be in the 90s.
Yeah,
that may or may not be true.
No, but it should be enough to win this.
The other horse of interest, Helen de Portal, who I think she's quite a significant name in terms of, I don't know, Greek mythology or something, but if some of our listeners will know that I'm wrong on this, but she's a well-named filly because they thought she was very good. And I remember we had Madeline Slicky on the racing show on Off the Ball, and she's like, we think she's special.
Okay.
She didn't look special for us out at Nace, but she might prove to be a lot better than
maybe. Anything for you in the first division of the maiden, Peter?
Just predicting what the betting will be here, that Joseph's will be very short. It's such a dear purchase. Assurance pitched in so high, first time out, will also be short, and I think it'll make Willie Wampus a bet each way. It has form, albeit on heavy ground, but I think if it transfers to Dundalk, I think I was looking at its dam, it was placed twice in Dundalk, it'll probably do it for me. It'll be a bet.
Good stuff. Into the next race, the second division of that maiden, and 3 of these pretty familiar with each other. Alroué, Cabassan and Syke, of course, all ran against each other last time out. Do you think that's the key form line here, Peter?
Syke or Psyche?
Psyche. Oh yeah, it was probably Psyche.
Yeah, I got the song earlier on. I think it's Psyche actually.
Yeah, it is Psyche.
Yeah, it all ran previous. The one I'd like to improve, typical Mick Halford improver, second time out, would be Caraspan, Roland Wheel and Stall 5. They were all involved in a slowly run race behind the good horse of Aiden's that night.
Brother to Glen Eagles.
Yes, and I just think the Caraspan would be best suited up to a mile tonight, and has the most improvement.
Yeah, Mick Halford generally improved, goes to £10, first one to second. What about you, Johnny?
Did have a sneak preview at the Racing Post Spotlight, which I shouldn't really do because it wasn't working today, and this horse was put in at 12s. Now that may change by the time I actually arrived here, but God, if this horse were 12-1, like, it's my nap of the night anyway. I can't see it being out at the 3. Loved its run the last day. It went a little bit wide into the straight, wasn't knocked about. Well-bred horse by Sayuni, and I just think it could well improve past these.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Filly's maiden to follow there. Another one I just caught my eye here. Well-bred sort in the shape of Sweet Affection for Dermot Weld, who's a 100 grand yearling. In what, like, they don't look the greatest bunch in the world. Anything for you, Peter?
In the
745
Banjo Ella, Jim Bulger's. I just think it was an even money favourite back here early in the year and got a soft enough lead, and really disappointed, found nothing hardest here last time out. Was well on top of Henry de Bromhead's filly in the end, and I think
confirmed the places.
Likely favourite winner.
You were going to Gala?
Royal Highness, the draw isn't great. Like you can get away with it in these maidens because a lot of them just won't break anyway. And Gavin Cromwell fancied his horse in the nursery last week, was drawn 14 over the mile, and for some reason it put me off and didn't really affect the winner at all. And you can get away with it here. Royal Highness just doesn't find enough for pressure. Has been fairly frustrating. I know Henry's horse are running well, but Bandu Kella can get off the mark. I think hopefully a double for Jim Bulger in the 2 fillies maidens.
Yeah, good stuff. Right, let's move on to the penultimate race of the evening. Then this is a pretty decent affair. I kind of like the chance of Passing Trade here. Just looks a really sort of solid each way poke, but not a race. I thought to go mad on anything really stand out for you.
Quite like No Nay Yellow here. I'm not sure if Paddy Roach has had a winner around Dundalk.
I don't
Probably
think
not.
No, Fairy House is his favourite track. He's had about 7 winners there.
Yeah, he's done very well. Bit of a promising trainer from the jumps ranks, I suppose. But this horse is actually, as far as I can recall, Crafty Hugo is a half brother. Crafty Hugo was a disappointing favourite here on Wednesday, but did win previously. And this is over the course and trip that this horse will be tempting to win on a yellow. First one for Paddy Roach, having left the stackyard, and I think stepping up in trip might suit No Nay Yellow. I think this horse is a decent chance. I thought it was a tricky race. I was very disappointed. Master Speaker and a claimer here last year.
Yeah, he has been. That's been him a bit for the last year or so, hasn't it, unfortunately. What about you in the second last race, Peter?
2 horses are going to be very popular in betting. Calling Time of Jessica Harrington's and Highly Approved, who ran so well second on Wednesday night to Geological. Lord of Scallion's my selection though from stall 1, an eye catcher here on the 11th of October behind Trading Point when getting no run and kind of left alone late on. Then he's 5th behind Cafu, where he got a wide trip. He came off it quite early but stuck at it in the straight. He was sluggish early. He needs to be sharper, but down £3 and £4 better off at Calling Time and has a better draw today.
Good stuff. Right, let's move on to the lucky last. Right, how many weeks in a row are we going to tip up Loaded? Anyway, unfortunately there's no show for the Wednesday racing. Anyway, he's straight back out. He's under a penalty. Colin Keane, by the way, on board as well, so that's got to be a positive. But Peter, you're the one who's going to start this Loaded bandwagon, so are you going to stick with it?
No, I hope you were on in running yesterday, considering the horse's price at the top of the straight.
Got off him too soon. Dubai Rainbow set a mad gallop Wednesday night, surely a winner in waiting. Alpharak here, it's a 4 extra place race at barwinracing.com, the second extra place race, and I like Alpharak here. Went too fast last time out, down £1, had Loaded back in third that day, and I just think Loaded will be popular because of Wednesday night, but I thought kind of just got there after Dubai Rainbow fairly set it up, had everything go right, but I think Alpharak here.
Yeah, you're with Alpharak in the looking last, Johnny?
I think Loaded is the greatest certainty of all time once he goes over 1.2 miles, and this trip is going to be a big problem. He took an age to get going to win it Wednesday night. I was actually watching the race on the exchanges in just the prices, and I was kind of, he was short and then he went way out, and I was like, that's a bit strange for a horse, so he's going to find plenty, and he did, but you just didn't know that he was going to get there for so long. 7 furlongs to me is a massive negative for this horse. I think now, as Peter says, Alpharak will probably be up there making it a gallop. I'm quite interested in Never Rains, who was disappointing in a claimer 2 runs back. Last time ran over too far, but this is my next best of the night. Pulsating.
Good stuff.
hopefully a pulsating end to the evening for pulsating backers. This horse is ridden by young Tom Madden, who's a very good record on pulsating. Gavin Cromwell, I mean, is he ever out of form?
Just so consistent.
Unbelievable.
Factory, yeah.
Pulsating's been around the training grounds, has had more trainers than Barry Condell, one might say. But pulsating definitely, I thought, was quite eye-catching the last day. She kind of ran into traffic when she was making a run, and lovely box draw in one. She's won off considerably higher at Dundalk. I think she's a huge chance.
Good stuff. Right, let's get our best bets of the evening. Peter, we'll start with you. Best bet, 2 of them, please.
I'll wait for the last 2 races. Lord Upscallion in the 8:15, and in the second of our extra place races, the 8:45 Alpharak.
Good stuff. Johnny?
Nap of the night is Carbasan.